So right off the bat, I'm going to say that I love this show. I'm not being dramatic when I say I find it phenomenal, amazing, fantastic, great, breathtaking, other buzzwords that I can't think of right now. And I'm also not being dramatic when I say that it had almost everything going against it for me. When I popped on the pilot episode, I really didn't expect to watch anything more than just the pilot episode, and I just wanted to give it a chance because I give almost everything on Netflix a chance, even the shit stuff. But I really don't like Tim Burton. It's not that I don't like just his recent stuff, like Sweeney Todd and Alice in Wonderland, which is common to not like. I don't like any of his old stuff. I didn't like Edward Scissorhands. I don't like Nightmare Before Christmas. And on top of that, I don't have any history of the Addams Family. I'm aware of the Addams Family. I'm slightly aware of Wednesday Addams herself just because of the stamp she has on pop culture as a whole.
This is my costume. I'm a homicidal maniac. They look just like everyone else.
But besides just an awareness of what they are, I didn't know anything about it. So when I say that this is one of the best shows I have ever seen and that it scratched an itch for me that I didn't even realize was there, and it filled a hole of fandom inside me that has been absent for quite a while, I'm being very truthful. So Wednesday obviously follows Wednesday Addams after she gets expelled from her normal school, normal kids, to go to the outcast school known as Nevermore, which is full of other quote-unquote outcasts that are werewolves, vampires, telekinetic sirens, and so on and so forth. Wednesday goes into the school being very upfront that she has no intention of staying at this school, and she's going to do whatever she can to get expelled from this, just like every other school she has been at in the past, until she stumbles on a mystery of a monster tearing apart kids and other civilians in the woods outside the school, and takes it upon herself to solve this mystery when she finds out that she is at the center of it and part of a large conspiracy and prophecy saying that she is going to destroy Nevermore. Along the way, she reluctantly makes some friends, has some relationships, and just plain old makes one of the best stories I've seen in quite a while. Now, the only way I can really think to describe this show is unique yet familiar. Uniquely familiar. It has all the tropes that you expect from it when you watch the trailer or when you hear that brief synopsis I gave. It is a teen drama. It's a whodunit. It has supernatural elements. It's all these things that you'd expect from it, but it's also so much more. It takes from so many different fandoms to where the entire time watching it, I kept getting this nostalgic feeling, even though I don't have any nostalgia for Wednesday Addams.
It's not my fault I can't interpret your emotional Morse code.
The Nevermore school and the cliques within it give off such a Harry Potter vibe that it scratched that itch of like a boarding school for misfits and outcasts. Outcasts very realistically, because that is actually what they call themselves, and normies. And I kept getting this feeling of this is what like a modern day Harry Potter would feel like, to where the muggles are kind of brought in on the statute of secrecy, because when they go out into the everyday world, the town of Jericho, outside of their school of Nevermore, and they're interacting with them, the people out there actually call themselves normies and call the kids that go there outcasts, and they're aware of those powers, and some of them are more welcoming while others find them scary or downright abominations. On top of that, and I'm almost hesitant to say this, I get a lot of early Riverdale vibes, like season 1 Riverdale, when the show was actually really, really good, and you had this kind of euphoric looking teen drama that was a meld of modern world and olden times, and there were these teenagers who were banded together to figure out a mystery of a murder, and it was just a really, really good encapsulation of a whodunit and a teen drama with these over dramatic relationships and scenarios. And the first season of Riverdale, which I've talked about, is really great, and every season after that just made me want that feeling back. And this season of Wednesday actually gave me that feeling that I've been craving for years. You obviously get vibes of Nancy Drew from the teenage girl mystery solver. And another thing is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which was a book series that I was a huge fan of when I was younger, written by Ransom Riggs, which ironically the first movie was adapted by Tim Burton, and I tried to watch it. It's garbage. I'm not the only one that thinks that. There's a reason that they only made one of them. And if you look into Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, it is strikingly similar to this show. And I'm glad that Tim Burton probably learned from his mistakes making that movie to make this one better. On a smaller scale, you kind of get like supernatural vibe, but in like a smaller teen scenario where all these kids have supernatural abilities that they're coming to terms with. It just encapsulates a lot of different fandoms that are no longer around or with us or have fallen off that I didn't realize how much I missed. And like I said, scratched that itch and gave me this wave of nostalgia that for the longest time was confusing as to why I was feeling it watching this show that I have no history with. Moving on from that, though, I want to talk about the characters and the relationships within this show, because although the driving force of the plot is about this mystery that I'm going to get into, the story that you really care about is of these characters, and specifically of Wednesday. Jenna Ortega absolutely runs away with the role of Wednesday Addams. Again, I'm not familiar with the previous Wednesday Addams, but she's phenomenal in this. As somebody that doesn't have prior knowledge, this is an incredibly unique and difficult character to tackle, and Jenna Ortega blew me away from the first minute she was on screen.
She's been smothering me with hospitality. I hope to return the favor. In her sleep.
Wednesday Addams is borderline psychotic, coming from a weird family that kind of embraces that, and she has very little emotion. She has difficulty attaching to others. She has this sarcastic, dry wit about her that Jenna Ortega just tackles really, really well, that with the amount they do it with a different actress could sometimes seem grating or cringeworthy, but is delivered from her in a way that is hilarious and believable. Then you have her family, which doesn't play a huge role in this. They're really only in an episode or two, but when they are there, are just phenomenal. I absolutely love the relationship between her mother and her father, which is disgusting at the best of times. But the relationship that she has with her mother, struggling being in her mother's shadow while trying to be her own person, and her mother trying to push her along on her own path while also being proud of the fact that she's going to the same school, and their struggles that they clearly love each other. It's a wonderful family dynamic that I didn't expect to see in this. And one of my favorite aspects of her family is that they are never weird about her darker side. They actually embrace it, and her dad calls her his little storm cloud.
Look at you, my little death trap.
And they talk about, oh yes, Wednesday is allergic to color, and just seeing her family embrace and love this side of her and understanding how she shows her affection and love rather than trying to suppress that and make her normal is really nice, honestly. Gwendolyn Christie, who you probably know as Brienne of Tarth, plays the headmistress, or maybe she's the dean, but I'm going to choose to call her the headmistress of the school. And seeing her in something else other than Game of Thrones or Star Wars, where you never see her face, is really great. I hope she gets other roles outside of these two. I understand it's probably difficult to cast her being such a large and imposing figure, but she really is a phenomenal actress, and she runs away with this kind of being this friend, foe. She has the goal of keeping the school open and protecting the students, but she understands the difficult nature that they have with the relationship outside of the school and the way normies see them. So she's constantly covering things up for fear that the school will be closed, but you understand why she's doing it, even though she's kind of a pseudo antagonist to Wednesday. Then you have a lot of friends within the school, but the one that really stands out to me is Enid. Enid is introduced in the very first episode as Wednesday's roommate and reluctant friend that eventually legitimately becomes her best friend, and she has some very sweet moments with. And Enid is kind of the exact opposite from Wednesday, being this bubbly, charismatic, loud person, very colorful person. And obviously Wednesday is the exact opposite of that in every way. I've heard comparisons of like Golden Retriever and Black Cat friendship energy. And those types of friendships within movies and shows are always my favorite. These like polar opposites that for whatever reason become the closest of friends and allies. Their friendship within this and how they complement each other, and every moment they have on screen is wonderful. And seeing Enid slowly chip away at Wednesday's facade and get her to open up, and in the end finally like hug her and accept her is really, really nice. But Enid herself is also really funny And I love the relationship that she has with her family and her being a werewolf that hasn't wolfed out yet, and her mom blatantly being disappointed in her, but Wednesday backing her up and making her feel like she's not less than. It's really wonderful. Easily, though, the weakest part of this show is the love triangle that Wednesday has with the two characters, Xander and Tyler. Both Xander and Tyler are deeply uninteresting and one-dimensional characters. Tyler being always confused and one step behind of everybody, and Xander having like this weird obsession with Wednesday, even though Wednesday has never really shown him a spark of affection, and him just being upset that she's not reciprocating his feelings or friendship even, really. And it's not as if I have a problem with Wednesday having a relationship like a lot of people do. I'll get into that in a minute. I just have a problem with her having a relationship with these two guys, which are both clearly not good enough for her and just exceedingly boring characters. And also, I hate love triangles, and this love triangle kind of ruined an aspect of the mystery, which again I'll get to. But really, Tyler and Xander just suck as characters. I think Xander could be a lot better in future seasons, and Tyler, he just sucks. I never liked him. I never liked him at all. Tyler does this weird thing where he like talks out like just the center of his mouth and just pushes the rest of it outwards. It's hard to describe, and it's really distracting.
Hey, you can keep trying to push me away. It's not going to work.
Now, I want to circle back to Wednesday, because Wednesday is obviously the most important character and aspect of this entire show. And I want to talk about a couple things that I really loved about her character. And that is the melding of the Wednesday character of this dark, brooding, emotionless, intelligent outcast, and also Wednesday, the teen girl. Because a lot of people, like I just said, have problems with her having a relationship or having interest in Tyler or in Xander, saying it completely makes no sense for Wednesday as a character to have interests in any boys. And I say that's wrong. Throughout this entire show, you see the difficulty that she has coming to terms with the fact that she actually cares about these people, that she's developing friendships and developing stable connections with like Enid, and caring about the fact that her and Eden had a falling out, and struggling not to cry and realizing that she does give a shit, even though she tries super hard to not give a shit. And when it comes to the relationship, she is still a teen girl, and I enjoy in the aspect of this that underneath all of that, a huge element of this show is that she is still a teenage girl. She is overconfident in herself. She is selfish and uses her friends without realizing it. She is short-sighted. She has these feelings for other teen boys that she finds attractive. She has falling outs with her best friend because she doesn't know how to communicate. And it just adds to the depth of Wednesday that some people find to be out of character, but I find to be what make the character. Now, before I wrap up here, I'm going to talk a little bit about the mystery of the story, which is the overarching plot of this entire show, but I haven't really talked about at all. And if you're watching this video, you've seen it, so I'm not going to get into it too much, but it was a rather obvious mystery. This show isn't as smart as it likes to think it is. And I also had the mystery spoiled for me on TikTok. I watched a TikTok about Wednesday, and like a fucking idiot, I opened up the comments, and the first comment was, "Whoa, it's fucking crazy that the old Wednesday tried to kill the new Wednesday." And I shut it, and I was angry at myself and TikTok for the rest of the day. The point I'm trying to make, though, is that even though I had it spoiled for me, and even though I was able to figure it out without the spoiler, that spoiler is just a confirmation, it didn't take away from the compellingness of the show and the excitement of seeing Wednesday solve it. Because Wednesday is often wrong in this. That goes back to her character faults and what make her a believable teenage girl, but supernatural and weirdly good at everything teenage girl, is that she's often wrong. And watching her struggle through finding her way through this mystery that honestly is kind of easy to solve makes sense. Because you can look at it as this show thinking it's smarter than it is, or you can look at it as Wednesday being overconfident and a realistic character that's having difficulty solving this intricately laid out mystery. And I did. I really liked the mystery. Like Tyler being the bad guy was obvious from the get-go, and I was very excited when he was, because like I said, I really do not like Tyler, and not for a single second did I think it was Xander and the therapist, and not for a single second did I think that they were going to cast Christina Ricci in just some bit part. She was obviously going to have a larger role. The whodunit aspect of this is wonderful, and I hope they carry that over for every single season and do, like I said, and don't hate me for this, for even talking about Riverdale, and do what Riverdale could not carry on from its first season. I love this show. It's amazing. I'm going to go back inside and I'm going to watch it again right now. But thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my other videos.